The U.S. Navy has sent USS Gabrielle Giffords to the South China Sea. Commander Reann Mommsen, a spokeswoman for the U.S. Navy's 7th Fleet, stated that on the 20th, the littoral combat ship USS Gabrielle Giffords traveled within 12 nautical miles (22 kilometers) of Mischief Reef in the Spratly chain. She added, USS Gabrielle Giffords demonstrated that Mischief Reef, a low-tide elevation in its natural state, is not entitled to a territorial sea under international law. The Freedom of Navigation Operation, FONOPs, comes at a time when the U.S. and China are embroiled in a trade dispute. Viewers may note that the U.S. has been sending warships to the region to counter China's claims of the waters. China, as usual, stated that it was a provocation, but didn't do much to counter the American move apart from sending warnings. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes why China didn't intervene as USS Gabrielle Giffords sailed close to Mischief Reef in the South China Sea. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by War Thunder. If you are, like us, fascinated by military vehicles and technology, I recommend you give War Thunder a try. It's a military vehicle combat game which you can download and play for free on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One with cross-platform support. It has a huge variety of more than 1,200 playable aircraft, tanks, helicopters, and ships from the 1930s to the 1990s, which you can take to battle on land, in the air, and at sea on more than 80 theaters of war. War Thunder's been kind enough to offer all Defense Updates viewers a special bonus, which will grant you a free premium tank, aircraft, or ship, and 3 days of premium account time for registering using our link in the description below. So take the plunge and join more than 20 million players from around the world. China claims most of the South China Sea. It's said that it has indisputable sovereignty over the area. Vietnam, Philippines, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan have disputed these claims. The route is significant, as about $5 trillion in trade through shipping passes each year. Countries like the U.S., Japan, UK, and India have no claims in the area and want freedom of navigation as per international maritime laws. China has tried imposing a unilateral decision as per which all ships and aircraft navigating in the area need to identify themselves to the Chinese Navy. China has built up military infrastructure in the islands, which include reinforced aircraft hangars at different parts of the disputed territories. Not only this, YJ-12 anti-ship missile and HQ-9 surface-to-air missiles have been deployed. The Littoral Combat Ship, LCS, is a set of two classes, the Independence and Freedom. Construction of the Freedom class is spearheaded by Lockheed Martin at Fincantieri Marinette Marine Shipyard in Wisconsin, while that of Independence-class ships is led by Austal USA in Alabama. These are relatively small surface vessels and primarily designed for operations near shore. During the late 1990s, the U.S. Navy understood that cruisers and destroyers would be vulnerable to attacks in shallow coastal waters. Large warships, like cruisers and destroyers, are designed for open ocean warfare, and not for shallow water where these can be targeted by high-speed boats, missile-firing fast attack craft, small submarines, sea mines, and land and air-launched anti-ship missiles. The idea behind the Littoral Combat Ship, as described by former Secretary of the Navy Gordon R. England, is to create a small, fast, maneuverable, and relatively inexpensive member of the DDX family of ships. If required, these ships will absorb an attack and protect the much more expensive cruiser or destroyers. The LCS is envisioned to be a networked, agile, stealthy surface combatant capable of defeating anti-access and asymmetric threats in coastal waters. Interestingly, the LCS has a modular design. The vessels can be configured with different modules for specific roles that include anti-submarine warfare, mine countermeasures, anti-surface warfare, intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance, homeland defense, maritime intercept, special operations, and logistics. In the long run, the LCSs are expected to progressively replace slower and specialized ships, such as minesweepers and amphibious assault ships. USS Gabrielle Giffords was commissioned on June 10, 2017. The warship has a length of 127.4 meters, that's 418 feet, and a displacement of 3,104 tons when fully loaded. The ship uses 2 gas turbines and 2 diesel engines to power 4 steerable water jets. The USS Gabrielle Giffords has a speed of 40+ knots, that's about 46 miles per hour or 74 kilometers per hour, and has a range of 4,300 nautical miles, which is 8,000 kilometers or 4,900 miles. It can accommodate 40 core crew plus up to 35 mission crew. The warship can carry up to 2 fire scouts. The fire scout is designed to provide reconnaissance, situational awareness, aerial fire support, and precision targeting support for ground, air, and sea forces. The Independence class carries a default armament for self-defense and command and control. Unlike traditional fighting ships with fixed armaments such as guns and missiles, tailored mission modules can be configured for one mission package at a time. Modules may consist of manned aircraft, unmanned vehicles, off-board sensors, or mission manning detachments. The interior volume and payload is greater than some destroyers and is sufficient to serve as a high-speed transport and maneuver platform. The mission bay is 15,200 square feet, that's 1,410 square meters, and takes up most of the deck below the hangar and flight deck. With 11,000 cubic meters of payload volume, it was designed with enough payload and volume to carry out one mission with a separate mission module in reserve, allowing the ship to do multiple missions without having to be refitted. The Independence-class ships also have an integrated LOS mast, Sea Giraffe 3D radar, and Sea Star Sapphire FLIR. Northrop Grumman has demonstrated sensor fusion of on- and off-board systems in the Integrated Combat Management System, ICMS, used on the LCS. USS Gabrielle Giffords is armed by a variety of weapons. 1 BAE Systems Mark 110 57mm gun, 1 Raytheon CRAM CIWS close-in weapon system, 4 50 caliber guns, 2 aft, 2 forward, 2 30mm Mark 44 Bushmaster 2 guns, part of SUW module, 2 AGM-114L Hellfire missiles, planned part of SUW module, or NSMs and deck-mounted canisters. Naval Strike Missile, or NSM, is the most powerful weapon of LCSs, which give them a potent punch and the ability to take on much larger opponents. It's the upgrade of Kongsberg's Penguin short to medium range anti-ship guided missile. The missile has a range of 100 miles or 185 kilometers. NSM is a 5th generation missile capable of high subsonic speeds. It has sea skim mode, by which it travels very close to the surface, making it hard to detect and intercept. It's equipped with 276 pounds or 125 kilograms multi-purpose blast fragmentation warhead. NSM features an imaging IR seeker, which is complemented by inertial GPS navigation. The missile also has a built-in database of representative ship types to distinguish between intended targets and other objects. Importantly, it can be used as an anti-ship missile as well as for taking out land targets. NSMs are placed on the decks of LCSs through a proprietary canister launcher. USS Gabrielle Giffords is armed with NSM and thought to carry 8 of these. The U.S. Navy has more than 10 supercarriers, 65+ Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, 25+ Ticonderoga-class cruisers, as well as several other surface combatants like Wasp-class amphibious assault ship. The powerful warships have made the American Navy surface fleet to be the most formidable one. With the inclusion of littoral combat ship, the U.S. Navy will be able to plug certain holes like operating in constrained places and have a better sea presence. This relatively smaller but very agile addition will significantly improve the combat flexibility of the U.S. Navy in the South China Sea region. The ship's low draft gives them better access to shallow waters, which would help them in reconnaissance missions in the scattered reefs of the disputed Spratly chain. USS Gabrielle Giffords' fast speed is also an advantage when conducting freedom of navigation operations. The arsenal, especially the NSM, makes it a potent adversary for any rival, including the Chinese military, and hence it refrained from taking any aggressive action.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.